Welcome to Barnstable Today. I'm Nick Cortez. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, but there wasn't much love in the room at Monday's licensing authority show cause hearing for Ying's Sushi Bar and Lounge. Suriyawong, the manager of the restaurant on Center Street in Hyannis, was before the authority to answer to 5 separate allegations, including repeated noise violations, unwillingness to cooperate with police officers, and most notably, inadequate supervision of the premises on the night of January 6th when a man was shot outside the establishment. Ultimately, the licensing authority found the licensee guilty of all 5 allegations and decided to suspend Ying's liquor license for 30 days beginning on January 6, 2012. In addition, the authority chose to roll back the restaurant's entertainment license immediately, which will require Ying's to end all live performances and DJ sets by 11 p.m. instead of 1 a.m. Now, let's take a look at some of the testimony that led the authority to arrive at its final decision, beginning with Barnstable Police Officer Stephen Marr, who cast Ms. Suriyawong as a manager who has repeatedly tried to keep information from the police and who has looked the other way when violations have occurred at Ying's.
On the night of the shooting, I was present as a result of a call being sent out to assist with a collection of evidence. While I was there at the site, I was present when the officer who first arrived, Nelson Souve, conducted an interview of the door staff and some of the other people that were present at the time. Along with that, I had been into the establishment on the 20th of November, and I had spoke with a manager based on the fact that there had been an increase in noise complaints at the establishment, as well as my view of some of the patrons that were entering and exiting the establishment. On the night of the 20th, I went into the establishment, I spoke to the manager, and I pointed out directly to her that some of the patrons she had inside her establishment were known criminals. I also stated to her that based on that and the type of entertainment that she was providing, that she was going to have a problem if she didn't adequately provide staff to police the area around her establishment. Her comments to me that night were that she would take care of it and that there wouldn't be a problem. I also spoke with a bartender subsequent to this particular night, and he related to me a couple of different things. One was that on December 17th, there was an apparent attempted stabbing across the street from Ying's. At that particular night, the bartender that I spoke to, who relayed to me that he felt uncomfortable being here today due to the fact that he might be put in harm's way as a result of testimony, he stated that he went into the establishment, spoke with the manager, and told her that there was possibly a problem across the street and that the police should be called. His response to me was that the manager had stated not to call the police. He also stated to me that while he was working the bar for the short period of time that he was there, that he had attempted a few times to try and ID people to make sure that they were over 21 and was told by the manager not to do that, that there wasn't time to do that, and that that's what the door staff was for. On the night of the stabbing, I was also approached by a DJ who had worked that night, or the night of the shooting, correction. Well, I was approached by a DJ who had worked that night. He came up to us as we were standing outside. He relayed to me, one, that he had been fired by the manager, and that she had said to him that the result of his firing was due to the type of music that was being played. He also told me that she had told him when he went to her about the shooting not to talk to the police about it. And he's here today to testify to that fact.
Next, as Officer Marr indicated, we'll hear from the DJ that was playing at Ying's on the night of the shooting, William Hughes of Harwich. Here, Hughes talks about the night of the shooting and about other recent problems at Ying's.
After the shooting, did you have a conversation with the manager?
Somewhat. I didn't really talk to her. I kind of went up to the bar, and there was 2 officers standing near the front door. You can either walk in and go to the right to the sushi bar or go to the left to the bar where I was. And there was Detective Galvin and also an officer that I don't know his name were standing over near the door. And I went up to the bar, and I said, shouldn't you tell them about the argument that was outside earlier? And she proceeded to tell me to shush and not speak about it. So.
Other than that particular night, are you aware of any other events that had happened in Ying's in the last couple of months?
Well, there was one Friday night that I had actually tried helping her because I've worked in establishments over the years. The last 8 years I've been DJing in Hyannis to Harwich, and I actually brought in some security guards because she needed help with security. So I brought in people from Irish Pub in Proper, and one of my friends was actually doing security for her, and it was a Friday night, which is a Latin night, and I had proceeded to leave about 12 o'clock to go over to Puffer Belly's. It was my friend's birthday party, and he had called me at about 12:50 and said, where are you, I need to get out of here. And he had proceeded to tell me that somebody had threatened to stab him in the parking lot because he was trying to get the person out of the club.
And that was somebody that worked at the establishment?
Yes, he was the only security guard on.
Is there anything else that's happened at the establishment? Have you witnessed any underage drinking or anything of that nature in the last couple of months?
Yeah, over the time of being there, I've seen people, and there's been underage drinking.
If you could just give us your opinion as to whether you think the manager is cognizant of the fact of the type of crowd that was going in on the night that the shooting happened, and whether she was adequately prepared based on your past experience with these different type of events.
Well, the one reason why I brought in that specific night, I had actually, there's a gentleman here that does security for me because I do private functions and I do shows for like nonprofits and everything, and they work for me, and I had 2 of my security guards come in that were not paid that night to help with security because I didn't feel like it was adequate. I actually brought in 2 guys on my own, and they actually didn't even get paid that night. And she had hired a new bouncer that night, so there was 3 people on that night. But if it wasn't for me bringing in the other 2, there would only been 1.
Toward the end of the hearing, Ms. Suriyawong was given the opportunity to respond to the allegations and the testimony against her. Due to a language barrier, friend and neighbor Janet Dailey spoke on her behalf.
I urge you to realize that this is a very popular place. I'm 74. I go there. I don't feel threatened. I went there last night, walked across the street. I have a list of 388 people who have signed a petition, and I can give this to you if you would like. I'm saying that I think Ying has certainly learned a lesson about DJs, is going to be a lot more selective, but I think that saying that this young man was shot in front of her restaurant, which also happens to be in front of my house. Basically, he was shot across the street from my house. I don't think I hold any blame for that any more than Ying personally holds blame for that. I would hope that you would see your way clear to allow her to follow the instructions of the police department in concerning the entertainment, but that you allow the entertainment license, because even as most people have said, there are no problems with these other nights. Thank you.
As you heard, Dailey didn't try to make any excuses for Suriyawong or for Ying's. After the hearing, she told reporters that she thought the sanctions from the licensing authority were fair. Now, let's take a look at this week's remaining meetings. At 6:30 p.m., the Conservation Commission meets in the Town Hall hearing room. Wednesday, February 16th, the Zoning Board of Appeals meets in the Town Hall hearing room at 7 p.m. Also at 7, the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission meets in the Selectmen's Conference Room. At 7:30 p.m., the Shellfish Committee meets in the MEA Conference Room on Finney's Lane. On Thursday, February 17th, the Town Council meets in the Town Hall hearing room. Well, that's all for now. I'm Nick Cortez, and we'll see you next time on Barnstable Today.